All right. Hi everyone. Please, can you hear me now? All right. If you can hear me, just say hello on the chat. Say hello if you can hear me clearly. All right. Great. I can see hello. Yes. No sound. Good evening. Yes, I can. All right. Thank you so much for having me today. And so let me share my screen. Okay. Let me see. Can see my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen, please? Let me try to split my screen. Okay, I think everybody can see my screen. No, my screen is not displaying. Hi, studio. I can't see my screen. Please, can you see my screen? Oh, great. Not this one that is saying data science and machine learning, Python essential, but the one that is saying that is showing my picture. Is that the one you are seeing? Okay, let me try to join with my phone to see that I can see myself on the screen. Okay, great. I think I can see myself on the screen. All right, and good evening. And how has been your day? My phone to see that I can see myself on the screen. All right, great. So today, I'll be taking you through the software installation and something about Python. So my name is Ezekiel, and I'm a senior data analysis manager and educator who is so passionate about teaching statistics and data science through practical and hands-on learning. So I currently work as a lead statistician, or the project called Multidimensional Poverty Index across the United States in Nigeria. All right. And currently I have two books, which is designed to make everyone a data analyst and to be able to master R programming and statistics. For example, this is one of the books, and the title is Statistics and Data Analysis with R. So it's a lab-based approach which will help you to experiment the data and apply statistics with it. Okay, I also have a YouTube channel. You can look at it at GBG Analytics, where we teach so many things about programming, Power BI, business intelligence, statistics, and stock markets. So, yesterday we talked about Anaconda distribution, whereby everyone is expected to install it. And today you understand what Anaconda distribution is and other kind of packages or libraries that are pre-installed with it. So what is Anaconda distribution? This is a Python distribution used for scientific computing. And the main purpose is just to help us simplify package management and deployment. The distribution includes data science packages which are suitable for Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. And to install this Anaconda distribution, you will need to navigate into www.anaconda.com/download. From there, you will click download and you have something like this, which shows you where to click for Windows, where to click for Mac OS, and where to click for Linux. I can see that the YouTube is somehow lagging, but no problem. So from there, you just select your OS platform. If it is Windows, you click on Windows, 64-bit, 32-bit, and for Mac OS, the same thing. You just click on it, and then it will get it downloaded. From there, you'll be able to have this Anaconda navigator. For example, Anaconda Navigator is just a desktop and graphical user interface which has the Anaconda distribution, and it allows you to be able to launch application without using command line interface. For example, we've been talking about Jupyter Lab notebook, and if you don't want to work with command line, then you can easily use Anaconda Navigator to launch the Jupyter Lab notebook. So many beginners always choose that route. For example, when you open Anaconda Navigator, you have this kind of interface. As you can see, there are a lot of applications on it. For example, you can see Jupyter Lab, you can see Jupyter Notebook, you can see PowerShell, you can see Spider, and many other applications there. But for this program or training, we'll be using Jupyter Lab instead of Jupyter Notebook. They have a lot of differences. So Jupyter Lab is a modern version of Jupyter Notebook. So if I see you using Jupyter Notebook, I will just be laughing at you saying, oh, there are better life than this one. Then we also have what is called Jupyter Notebook or Jupyter Lab, as you have seen it on the Anaconda Navigator. The Jupyter Lab or Jupyter Notebook is a web application that allows you to create and share documents that contains the live code, for example, Python codes, R codes, and even shell code. From it, you can also, use some of Markdown syntax to be able to write some text um, or even write or create a report with this Jupyter Lab notebook. So it supports the code, it supports text. It can also, embed visualization that comes as a sort of using Matplotlib or Seaborn. And I will show you those interfaces later. Now, to launch the Anaconda Navigator, so what you will do is to go to your search bar. For example, if you come to the taskbar here, then you just type the first one, that is Anaconda. Just type. Remember, you should have installed Anaconda distribution. That is what will help you to have the Anaconda Navigator. So just come to the search bar and type Anaconda Navigator. This is it. So when you click on it, so it's loading. So it can take some maybe 30 seconds before it launches up. As you can see, it is loading. Yeah, it is loading. So it can take some time, as you can see, because Anaconda Navigator has so many applications in it. So for everything to launch, so it can take some time. That is why it is taking time to load. Now, as you can see, it has been loaded. So if you maximize it now, oh my God, I think I click on close. Let me try it again. Anaconda Navigator, this is it. That's why I don't recommend using Anaconda Navigator. It takes some time to open. So it's loading. Exactly. No, it delays. Remind me later. Close this. Okay, I'm trying to maximize it. Now, as you can see, so we have a lot of applications here. We have PyCharm, we have which one again? We have Jupyter Lab, we have Jupyter Notebook, we have Spider, even VS Code is there. But if I want to open Jupyter Lab, I'll just come here and click Jupyter Lab. Remember, I've differentiated between Jupyter Lab and Jupyter Notebook. So for our training, we'll be using Jupyter Lab Notebook instead of Jupyter Notebook. It's just like you are using Nokia 3310 and you are using iPhone. You can see that the difference is clear. So for Jupyter Lab, this is Jupyter Lab. To create a notebook, so what we do is to click on this place here. This is, you can see Python 3 kernel. So just click on it, and then a notebook will be created for you. So another way to do that is to come to the file and click new, and from there you select notebook. So it will create, it will ask you which kernel you want to use. So kernel is just like a Python version. So here by using Python 3, and from there you just click Python 3 and you select it, and that is how a notebook can be created. So now let's now be playing with this notebook. Remember, I said that Jupyter Lab Notebook supports, the code, that is Python code. It supports you using Markdown, and you can also create a visualization in it. So if you want to create a cell, of course, once you open a notebook, the first thing is that a cell will be opened for you, will be created for you. But to create a new cell, you just click on this plus and a new cell will be created. The more I'm clicking plus, the more the cells will be created for me. And if I click on any empty cell, if you look at this place here, you can see we have code, we have Markdown, and we have raw. So the code, for example, is your Python code that you want to work with. For example, let me say that because most of you are Christians, so let me just say the church that we have in Nigeria. Let's say we have, let's say, I don't know, let's say for my community, for example, let's say 20. So if I run it now, so to run it, you can press Control Enter, and you can see that it has run. And then to know the variable that you have put your value, the 20 in it, you just call the church, for example, and press Ctrl Enter, and the value that you have stored in this variable will come up. And this is what we have as our variable. Okay, I can also say, let's say X. I don't like using X. I like to use a clear variable name. For example, let me say income, for example, income. Let's say the income is 20,000. All right. I can press Control Enter and then go to new cell and say income plus 20, and then you run it. So you can also use Shift and Enter. So when you use Shift and Enter, it will run the cell and create an empty cell for you. But if you press Control and Enter, it will only run the cell for you. An empty cell will not be created. So that is why we have this, as you can see. Okay, now for Markdown, to change a code to Markdown, then you will come to this place, code, and then select Markdown. So Markdown is a syntax, right? It's just like a fancy text that displays very well on a computer. And if you click Markdown, for example, I can say, I love the Church of God. I love the Church of God. Okay, Church of God in Nigeria. As you can see, so if I run it now, you can see that it ran, right? And that is just the Markdown. I can also play with it, For example, I can make the Church of God to be in bold text by using double asterisk sign. So you have to learn Markdown. If you have time, I can teach you more about Markdown. So you can see that here the church has been is now in boldface, right? And if I want to put Nigeria in italic, if I want to italicize Nigeria, then I can just come here and do like this. As you can see, Nigeria is now in italicized form. And to insert image is very easy. You just let me create a new cell. By default, every cell you created will be in code. So you have to change it to Markdown before you can have a cell that is Markdown. So to insert a picture, You know, you have to use this one, and then the file where the image is, the path is what will be here, and it will run. So, but I hope you know how to create a new cell with Jupyter Lab notebook now. So, so today we are just learning more about the Anaconda distribution interface, and we are learning more of Jupyter Lab notebook, and then we now go into proper Python programming. Remember, we have some beginners, among us, and if we start putting everything on everybody, most people will run away. All right, that is why we are doing this slowly like this. And remember, this is the first way of using taking Jupyter Lab notebook from Anaconda Navigator. So another form which I prefer most is using the terminal, right? And to use the terminal, you just come to the search on the taskbar and type Anaconda prompt. Where is it? Anaconda. Yeah, this is it. Anaconda prompt. So a terminal will be open for you, and then from there, so if I want to launch a Jupyter Lab notebook, I just type Jupyter Lab. And then immediately I press enter, Jupyter Lab notebook will be open on my browser. So it's taking time to, you can see, so it's open. All right. Now, so this is just like the local server, and then you can see that the same thing open without taking much of our time. All right. So, and that is how to open a Jupyter Lab notebook. So by now, you know how to open a Jupyter Lab notebook by using either Anaconda Navigator or by using the terminal. Another software that we'll be looking into is called VS Code, right? And VS Code is also free, a lightweight and powerful code editor that is developed by Microsoft. Microsoft developed this IDE. Just like Jupyter Lab Notebook, it helps you to write and edit code in multiple languages, for example, R, Python, or JavaScript. It helps you to also manage files and projects, in an organized workspace. And you can also run your code directly in the integrated terminal. It also supports extension to enhance the functionality. For example, it supports R. Instead of you using R Studio or using Positron, you can easily use VS Code, and work with your R programming. The good thing about VS Code is that it has an extension which helps you to be able to format or highlight text, so that you can differentiate between a function and other kind of objects. And you can easily, debug, with VS Code. So if you like, you can open your Jupyter Lab notebook on VS Code or go through the route of Anaconda distribution. So depending on whatever choice that you have. So for me, I like to use both VS Code or Jupyter Lab notebook on Anaconda distribution. And to install this VS Code, you just go to this website code.visualstudio.com/download, and it will get this VS Code um, installed for you. So for example, to open it after you have installed it, you just type VS Code on your taskbar. Once you click on VS Studio Code, this will show up, and then how to work with this is this. You know, uh, on the left panel, we have Explorer. So from there, you can open a folder that has your projects, and then you can also open a file. Then, if you want to go to terminal, it also has terminal. For example, this is terminal, and you can start working with terminal. And when we enter the version control, so you can easily use your Git syntax, on the terminal on VS Code. So for example, if I want to open, the good thing about Python programming is that before you start, you must create a directory called folder. In a layman's sense, you create a folder on your laptop, be it on your desktop or on the document, and that is where your project will be. So it's not be good to just be creating file anyhow. So for me, if you look at my computer, I have sorry, I have a little project on my computer. Okay. All right. So here I have, let me see. I call it AI now, right? And in this directory, I have other directory and I have a file. So for example, I have code snippet for part one. And because of what you'll be learning today, so you'll be looking at the get analysis. I believe you have this zip file already, they sent to you, and then you'll be playing with the Python basics. So today basically is all to showcase several software or platforms that will be using for this training and to learn basic Python programming. So now that I have my folder, right, now to use VS Code to open it, so what we do is to open the VS Code. For example, I have this VS Code, then I will come to the file, then I will say open folder, then I will go to my folder. For example, it's AI now, and let's say this one, for example, code snippet for part one. Select the folder and you have all the files and you can start doing your Python programming with it. So it's easier like this because already this is on a root folder, so it knows where it is and you can easily select your data and start doing your analysis. So if you want to create a new Jupyter Lab notebook, in this, you just click on file and you click new file, and you can see from here now you have several files. Here is Python file, Jupyter notebook, and Jupyter notebook has an extension called .ipynb for those that are just learning Python for the first time. So the extension for Jupyter Lab notebook is i.pynb. So you can see we have our document, our markdown, Koto document, project, Koto project document. Those are the kind of works I've worked before. But for now, let's just click Jupyter Notebook. I can see here it has created a new file. And the good thing is to always save your file so that you will not be having unnecessary untitled one.ipynb file. So here I'll just say let's say first class, for example, first class, and that is it. So just like Jupyter Lab notebook interface, the same thing is also happening in VS Lab, and you can start working with it. Here is the code. So if I want to, let's say I say age is equal to let's say 40, right? If I let me make it in text, 40 years. Okay, there to run it. So here now you can see when I press Control Enter, it's asking me to select my kernel. Here in this case, I like to use Anaconda with VS Code. So the Anaconda I have installed before is what helps me to be able to select this now. Otherwise, you can select another kernel, but I'll just pick this one. As you can see, it's connecting to the kernel with the help of the Anaconda distribution. Now you have the age now. So to create a new cell, you just click on this plus code here, and then you can see age and press Shift Enter. You can see it says 40 years. I can start running. And if you want to select a markdown cell, you just click on this place plus markdown, right? And I can say, let's say I want to create a bullet point. Say, for example, let's say the parish, no, the okay, let's say some parishes, okay, within my communities, within my community are. So there I can start creating a bullet point. Let's call it Liberty Parish in Ibadan. We have another one called, we have another one called Bethel, and let's say, all right, etc. So you can see here is how to create a bullet point or numbered bullet point. And for the numbered bullet point, so the same thing, click on Markdown. So let me just copy and paste this. All right, and instead for the numbered bullet point, so you can just use this one dot, the same thing, two dot, and you enter it, then it becomes a numbered list. So here it's called a numbered list, and this is called number list. Okay. Okay, as you slow down, right? Okay, let me see on the comments. Okay, is there any question for now, please? I can see your comment, but it's so fast here. Hello. Okay, recap, actual recap. Okay, so let me start again. I'm just showing you the beauty of Markdown in the Jupyter Lab notebook. So remember, to create a new cell, you will click on the plus code. Remember, this is VS Code. If you are on Jupyter Lab notebook, that will be on your browser, right? Using Anaconda distribution. Remember, this is it. It's on our browser. For VS Code, it's not on the browser, but on the VS Code itself. And that is what we are doing. So just like we have it in Jupyter Lab notebook on the browser, the same thing is what we are doing on the VS Code here. This is not even Python of a thing. This is just normal Markdown, and Markdown is a topic on its own. Of course, you have to learn everything to be able to call yourself a data scientist or machine learning engineer. All right. Okay. Now, how do we delete a cell? Right. To delete a cell, you click on this place here. You can see delete cell, and it will delete it for you. Okay, it will delete it for you. Okay, so I believe you have learned something on VS Code and Jupyter Lab notebook, and you can create the Jupyter Lab notebook from the Anaconda navigator, or through the Anaconda prompt, or you can also create a Jupyter Lab notebook on the VS Code now. Okay, so the next software we'll be using for this training is called Git, or you can call it Git Bash, right? It's just a version control system. And what is it? For example, you are working on your laptop and everything crashes. So how will you recover all your files, documents, sensitive data, the project that you have been working on, that they have paid you, and you have told them that in the next 2 days I will get delivered, and something happens, maybe your computer got missing or your computer crashes. You have used all the software to recover it, but you could not recover it. What will save you from that trouble, is the use of version control, and we'll be using Git as a version control system. So what is Git? Git. So Git is a distributed version control system that helps you track changes in files, which also help you to collaborate with others and manage your project history efficiently. Just like you can work with me on Google Google Sheet or Google Document or Google Slide. Everybody will be working without affecting everyone's line, right? The same thing also happens when you are using Git as a version control system for your project. You know, you can easily recover your history. You can get your project up to date. Somebody can collaborate with you. For example, I work with many developers. I work with several data analysts, on a project, and we use version control. And if I want to hire you, I will ask you, where is your Git repository? Give me your Git username. From there, I can look at what you have done. If you qualify for it, I can easily give you a job. So in this training, you'll be learning how to use version control system. For example, we have sent you a link to create your own GitHub repository. Once you create a GitHub repository, the next thing is to learn how to use Git as a personal control system for your project, and we will show you. To be able to start using Git, the first thing to do is to download Git Bash. You can download Git Bash by visiting git-scm.com/downloads. After you have downloaded it, to know whether Git has been successfully downloaded and installed, then you can use this syntax: Git space hyphen no space version. So it will show you the version of that Git bash. For example, I've already installed Git bash on my system, so I'll just type Git bash now. You can see here's Git bash. Now, when you open it, you have something like this, and you can just ask Git, version. Then, so for me, I'm using 2.48.1. So I don't know the correct version now. So, but this is my own version, and you can also do the same. Let me see if we have any question. WhatsApp. What is the difference between this and GitHub? What is the difference between what and what, please? Please, when you are asking question, ask it in a way that I will quickly understand. You didn't get Anaconda parts. Please, I'm not on the WhatsApp group. Please, let's leave all this WhatsApp group discussion for now. Let's leave it. Let's start asking about questions that relate to what I'm teaching or I'm saying. Either you have the links to those software or not. Don't worry. When I mention a particular software, go to Google, ask for the name. For example, Git Bash. It will show you Git Bash, and from there you can easily download it. I use GitHub and I don't have Git Bash. Do I have to download it? So if you use GitHub and you don't have Git Bash, that means that you are not using it effectively. So some of you, when you want to upload your project, you always go through the route of uploading instead of using command line to push. So, but don't worry, we'll teach you everything about version control later, but not today. The main purpose of today's work is just to familiarize you with several software that we'll be using, such as Anaconda distribution, such as VS Code, such as Git Bash, and to be able to open those things by yourself. Do we have to download Anaconda and VS Code? Yes. The more you are downloading all this, the more you become an efficient user. How can I set up my VS Code? It's very easy to set up a VS Code, download the VS Code, and start working with it. I've already shown you how to create a project. A project is just a directory, or if I don't want to be talking like a layman. I want to be talking like an expert. So when I say directory is just a folder. For example, you can see DSN 2025 AI Bootcamp is the directory. It's a project on its own, right? And you can see AI now that we are currently in. Yes, there's my project. If I want to open anything, any project on this directory, for example, it's very easy to do with VS Code. So what we do is just to open the VS Code, right? So you can see VS Code is open, and then you click on, for example, if you come over here on the Explore on the left hand side, you click Open Folder, and then you select your directory AI now, and select folder, and this becomes your project directory. Yeah, you are currently in a project now, and if I want to open this one, you can see, and I can start opening my file and start working with it. Okay, I can start opening my file. For example, they sent you the which one? Let me open a new folder. AI now. So here you have this folder, get underscore analysis. So you just click select folder and you have everything. And today we'll be working with the program flow, data structure and data structures. You can see once you open it, it will open for you. I hope you understand it now. Okay, you can see my screen. Let me see. Yeah, I think my screen is showing. Yeah, I can see my screen on my own phone. I'm using my phone to join to see to have the kind of feelings that you are having. I can see myself here. Okay, what else on the slide? Before we move into machine learning platform, let's see how to also use Google Colab. What is Google Colab? So Google Colab is just like your normal Jupyter Lab notebook. Remember, all of these are on your system, while Google Colab is on the cloud. So Google Colab was created by Google to enable us to be able to work effectively on the cloud. And to open a Google Colab, you just open a tab in your browser and just type colab.google.com, something like that. Colab. Just type Colab, for example. This is the link, colab.google.com, right? So before you can use Google Colab, of course, you must have a Gmail account. So because every work you are doing will be saved on your Google Drive. And if you have only Yahoo accounts, you won't be able to use Google Colab. So here you can see. So to open a new notebook, you just click here, new notebook, and it will use one of your Gmail account to do that. You can see it's loading. What is happening to the studio? I can't see my screen myself. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So as you can see, the Colab is open now. You can see this is my account. It's using this. Is it okay for me at gmail.com? If I don't want this, I can use this one. I can use this one. I can use another account. Here is using GBT Analytics. And to create a new notebook, you just click new notebook, as you can see. So a new notebook will be open, and immediately it opens, it will look like your Jupyter Lab notebook. Just the same experience. Are you getting it? Just the same experience. So here now we have an empty cell, and you can start putting your Python code. For example, my income today is 30. Okay, and to run it, just press Ctrl Enter. As you can see, it's running. You can hear now it's connecting to the server. You can see It's now connected. You can see you are using RAM and disk online, freely given by Google, right? So if you have a lower capacity computer, so this one will support you to be able to do much more work. Now, so if I call income today and I press enter, you can see it's giving me 30. And to create a markdown, you just click on text and the same thing will come here. So I love Mr. Israel, okay, Israel, because he is a good man, right? The joy of Google Colab is that instead of formatting the markdown syntax by yourself, so Google also gives you like a drag and drop. Let me call it drag and drop. If I want to bold face this place now, I can click B here. You can see, and automatically it gives me the markdown syntax. I can see that here now it also shows me the preview of what will happen if I leave the cell, right? And if I want to create a bullet point, you just come here and you start editing it. For example, the list of fruits in my fridge. Okay, start listing them. Mango, okay, oranges, and so on and so forth. So that is it. So it automatically creates a the what do you call it now? Ordered list. So here is ordered list, right? In Markdown. And when I'm happy and I want to work with another person, you can easily share the file. But Jupyter Lab Notebook and VS Code on your laptop, you won't be able to share it online in real time. Otherwise, you have to share it maybe via WhatsApp or via email. But Google Colab allows you to work in real time. So, for example, I can come here, I click on share, and I can start putting people there. For example, do I have anybody here? I don't have anybody I can share with, but I can allow people to work with me. Let me see. I can come here and say it is not restricted and allow anybody to edit it. So, for example, I can copy the link, right, and send it to you all here to start working with me. Please work with me. Okay, and I sent you the link. So if you click on the link now, you'll be able to work with me, in that Google Colab. All right. So remember, I don't like saying untitled o.ipynb. So I want to call it, let's say intro to Colab. Okay, intro to Colab. So everything you are working with here is automatically saved on the cloud. And if you go to your Google Drive, you'll be able to see this file. So let me go to my drive. In case you close your browser, you are now wondering where is this file saved on your Google Drive. So just go to your Google Drive, go to your normal Google Drive, and go to my drive. From there, you can see. So there's a special directory called Colab Notebooks that has been automatically created for you. So all the Colab files, Jupyter Lab Notebook on the Colab will be automatically saved here. So when you come here, you'll be able to see your file. As you can see, this is it. And you can open it and start working again. All right. So that's all about Colab. The same feature, only that this one, the only difference between Colab and other Jupyter Lab Notebook on your computer is just this one. It gives you RAM and higher disk. You can see you are using about 12 gig RAM and you have about 107 gigabytes. So most of you, or some of you, few of you may not have a RAM that is up to 12 gig, and Google is giving you such an amount free of charge, right? And you can easily work with people. And there's one joy that they just created now that you can even use Gemini on it. It can automatically help you analyze your data, help you with your code, make everything so easy for you while you are praising God. Okay. Um, is there any question again? Any question? Is it clear so far? Okay, I believe everything is clear now. Let me close this guy. Okay, great. Now, let's look at several machine learning platforms because that is the essence of this training, to be able to work with machine learning projects, build fantastic projects, that future employers can easily hire you when they see your good work. All right, now let's look at several machine learning platforms. I have a file here that I created with Jupyter Lab notebook. So I'll just double click on it and VS Code will open it. All right. So now we have several machine learning competition platform. The good thing is that many people have gotten a lot of money by competing via Cargo, via Zindi, um, via data driven. For example, I have Israel, who used to win a lot of money by competing on Cargo. So instead of looking for a job, once you have on your skills in machine learning and data science, you can easily compete and start getting a lot of money if your model win overall. I think they used to select the best three after the competition closes, and if your model wins, and they will give you money. So we have Cargo, which is the world largest data science community with powerful tools and resources that helps you to achieve your data science goals. And you can access Cargo via www.cargo.com. So when you go to this website, you have something like this, right? You can see competition. So from there, you can compete with anybody all over the world. You can play with data sets if you are struggling to get real world data sets, real life data sets. You can easily get some of them here. And the good thing about the data sets is that their data dictionary, which you call metadata, is complete. So you understand the problem, you understand the variables, you understand several kind of problem that the data have, and then from there you can start training it and use it to train your model. And another thing is that they have notebooks that many people have submitted. So from there, you can learn through their notebooks. You can learn several, techniques at which they optimize their model. Several things they've done. You can easily learn from it. And another thing is that you can also discuss. In fact, you can create a team. In which you'll be competing. With other people. For example, I can have my team, and my team can have about 5 members, and all of us will now be competing with other people. And you can also take some courses online there. Data science is not, you can't learn data science in one day. You can't learn machine learning in one training. So it's a continuous addition of several accumulation of what you have uh, what do you call it now, undergone, that will help you to be able to say, wow, you are now good and you are ready to start collecting money by delivering several projects or working with many people through freelancing, through gigs, through 5 to 9 hour job and all of that. Okay, so remember, try to register, sign in, and once you register, when you click on compete, you'll be able to see several competitions that are still available. Some will have been closed, while some are available. Look at the one that is simple or hard, compete, win, and give glory to God. Okay, so remember, you have access to data. How do we get this job opportunity? I'm coming. I'm interested in that too. I'm coming. So, for example, this is the famous Titanic competition. This data suffered a lot in the hand of many people. Once you are learning machine learning, this is where they will ask you to start predicting which is going to survive on the Titanic. It's actually the data is very simple, and a lot of people have scored the accuracy of 100%. So you can see the description about the competition, the evaluation metrics they want you to use will be stated here, and you can start playing with it. So here is the data tab. You can read everything. Once you have understood it, you can join the competition, download the data locally, start working on Colab or working on VS Code or working on Jupyter Lab notebook. You know, this is we also have leaderboard. So the leaderboard displays each participant relative to others based on what they have submitted. Right? Here is scoring your if the metric is accuracy, so it will be how will I call it, comparing your accuracy with other people that have submitted. You can see this guy scored 1, that is 100%, and he submitted 2 times. So the good thing about Kaggle is that you can submit severally, but remember, you should not what do you call it now, how do I call it, I forget the English to use. um the cargo has rules that you must follow, right? So explain the rules of the competition, and you need to remember every section in that. You can also create a team. For me, for example, you can see, I think when I created this, I was the leader of the group, and yeah. So apart from cargo, we also have other machine learning competition such as Zindi. So just like the cargo platform, Zindi too is a platform. Cargo is let's call it, cargo is global, right? While Zindi is for Africa, right? It's good to also develop our Africa continent. So yes, Zindi is having several problems, that the data is coming from Africa, and you can start, since you are in Africa, the problem in Africa. I think you should be able to succeed very well on Zindi compared to cargo. So we also have data driven, right? So just pick either of those platforms and start competing. Remember, as we are teaching you, several techniques in machine learning, building models, evaluating models, you know, putting several models together. Start joining competition. The more you are competing, the more you are putting your codes together, the more you are getting your hands dirty, the more you will have experience, so that when you get a job or you get opportunities, you not look like a novice. A novice will not collect good money, but an experienced user will collect a good amount of money. I think we are done with machine learning platform. Is there any question, please? The class is not a pro class yet. We are still in the beginners introduction to machine learning and everything. So I don't know. Yeah, so I'm lost. So it is not going to be easy for me. It is easy for you. Don't worry. Everybody starts as a novice. Even me, I started as a novice. So don't worry. It's very easy. Just, how will I call it? Just don't be lazy with it, and practicing. Start practicing. Once we introduce you to a particular concept, make sure before you sleep. I know, of course, before we sleep, it is late already. and everybody has been working since morning. Even me, I'm working. As you are tired, I'm tired, but we don't allow our tiredness to hold us down. Remember, we can do all things through by Christ who strengthen us. So allow the strength of God to help you, so that once you master all of this, then you will not become a novice again. So, any question? Yes, this is AI and machine learning class. Yes, sir. We need a breakdown. Okay. Of course. Let me send you this if it is allowed. Otherwise, just we have on the playlist here. We have materials that we created for beginners. Introduction to Python for data analysis, and statistics, because we want everybody to master statistics. So everything is here at a leisure time, apart from you revisiting the video that we are giving you. So this one too will help you, so that you have a lot of resources, video resources, to start getting your hands dirty. So let me send it to you. If you can pick it. Otherwise, and we have a lot of several materials online too that can help you master all of this. You'll be watching as much as possible videos, read books, and before you see it, you are now a master. Okay. Is there any question again? Uh, all right. So I'm waiting for two or more questions, and then we can start our Python class. So, do we need basic coding knowledge for this? Uh, we don't need basic knowledge. We teach you everything. Just like a teacher will not teach you everything in class, right? That's why I sent you that link that we actually took our time to create. So that can help you to master something, you know. But because we have like 8 weeks to be able to deliver on this project, on this training, and we have several things to cover. Yeah, the same thing has happened to me before when I was doing my masters. We did a particular course. Each course is being done within 3 weeks. Very, very hard. So I understand what you are going through, but those materials that I sent to you will help you to be able to learn something before the class, so that when we are coming to the class, it will be like a rehearsal for you, and you can easily learn something new. Okay. Any question again? Is Jupyter compulsory for this class? Can we just run .py? Yeah, you can also run .py. So the problem of .py is that you won't be able to show yourself, right? You won't be able to show yourself with py. So the py only is just Python codes and little comments. But if you want to showcase yourself, like as an educator, or you want to show yourself, in terms of interpretations of everything, the .py will not allow you to do that. That is why they integrate that Jupyter Lab notebook to help you to be able to showcase yourself. Like as you now, you want to showcase yourself, you want to show yourself that, oh, you are good. That is what Jupyter Lab notebook helps us to do. Okay. List of software to download, please. Yes, we can have a break. Yeah, I think it's time to have a break. So please take a cup of water, a cup of coffee, stand up, go and greet your friend in the other room, come back again. After 5 minutes, then we start again. Uh, so everything is encapsulated in the Anaconda distribution. That is true. But it's good to install VS Code on a standalone. So install VS Code on a standalone. Don't install VS Code on the Jupyter Lab, on the Anaconda distribution. So it is good to install your VS Code as a standalone software instead of it coming from the Anaconda distribution. But for Jupyter Lab, yes, it's already pre-installed on the Anaconda distribution. Go to the terminal, for example. I click on terminal. I just type Anaconda prompt. Okay. Anaconda prompt. Then I type Jupyter Lab. Then you press enter and it will open a a notebook for you. You can see the server is loading and bam, you have your Jupyter Lab book. So that's just it. Can I use Android laptop for this program? Android laptop. That is a Chromebook. Yes, you can use Chromebook for it. Yes. So if it allows you to install VS Code, fine. If it doesn't allow you to install VS Code, you can use Colab and start working. Only that it will take your data. Since you have the Android laptop, yeah, you are good to go. Are we downloading all these tools? Yes, you need to download it. For me, with no computer, can I cope? It will be hard for you to cope. Go and get your brother's laptop or your sister's laptop and start using it. When you get money, you will buy them another computer. Can we get a list? As I'm talking, right? I have a jotter. Even me that I'm teaching, I have a jotter on my table now. Everything I'm saying, be writing it down. As you are looking at me, hearing me, they have a jotter and start typing. You can't start telling you every time the kind of software you'll be installing. But to assist you, you will install Anaconda distribution. You will install VS Code. Then you will install Git Bash. Please don't ask me which software we install. Learn again. Can't we use one we are familiar with? Yes. So you can use any software of your choice. The tactic is get to know something and that use that something to do the work, to solve the problem. For me, I don't normally use VS Code. I use the Anaconda distribution via the Anaconda prompt to get my Jupyter Lab notebook. But my brother, like, he knows VS Code more than anybody. So that's just it. So the choice is yours. So you have them installed now. Okay, good. All right. Um, so remember, we are currently on break. So if you want to stand up, stand up. If you want to go and eat yourself, eat yourself. Yeah, we have Cargo, we have Zindi. So go and create an account with Cargo, create an account with Zindi, and you'll be fine. Yes, the slides have already been sent. So they will send it to you if you have not gotten it. Please, can you pin the message you drop on or more to get more? I'm not the admin. I can't pin it. I believe if they want it, they can pin it for you. So everything is free. Every software we are showcasing or teaching is free. Nobody likes to pay. So everything is free, please. So the basics is already on the platform on the YouTube link I sent, and you can also you are free to also to go to any platform, read books to get familiar with the basics. Your Anaconda navigator is exiting by itself. Yes, it happened to me too. So don't worry. Just use Anaconda prompt. Type Anaconda prompt, and then from there type Jupyter space and lab and press enter. That will solve the problem for you. Okay. Let me ask my co-facilitator. Yes, Anaconda distribution takes longer time to install. So don't worry. It can take up to like 20 minutes or so, depending on your computing power, the RAM, the CPU, and everything. Okay, your own is showing Anaconda PowerShell prompt. No problem. Just type Jupyter Lab. It can open that for you. Then you are fine.
All right, thank you very much, GBG. I hope we are all doing very great this night. I've seen a number of questions we've been asking on the group, so I'm also going to address some of them. But before then, we're going to get into something, much more, key for us. So maybe for internet sake, I'll just off this guy. All right. Now, so a quick one. So understand that a number of us are just, starting, and you are feeling, how do I cope? Will I be able to cope? The truth of the matter is, for anyone who is starting anything, you will have that level of curiosity. You have that little fear around it, but just relax. Writing code is not the problem again in the world. All right, understanding how code works is the key thing right now. And that's why we're going to start from the basic thing. Thanks to Ezekiel for the amazing things he has mentioned on this call. Now, the reason why we are saying, don't forget, like I said in yesterday class, is that you need to be aware about a number of these things. Not that we're going to jump on them right now, but be aware that they do exist, so that when you're having conversation with your other colleagues, when you're having conversation with other experts like yourself, because that's what you are becoming, you have an idea of some of these things. So it is to help you. And just like you also mentioned, please, it's very key and important to have a note. There are things we'll be saying, you should have your notebook. You should have your notebook so that you can take note of stops. And the first assignment per class is you should always come back to your assignment, come back to the class and watch it again. What we do in a 2 hours class cannot make anybody an expert in anything. Right, but it's going to help you like create like a foundation to work with. So today I'm going to, after all that has been said, we will be writing some level of code. So let me quickly ask for people who have been on this course, so which environment am I displaying to your screen? We have talked about different IDEs, integrated development environment. We've talked about VS Code, we've talked about Anaconda Navigator, and of course we've talked about Google Code Lab. We've talked about Cargo. Cargo also have a kernel you can work with. So I want to see your comments in the group. So which platform do you think I'm showing? Let me try and open the group because I really cannot. Let me try and open the group. Okay, I think I'll come back to that later. So tonight I want to quickly establish these key things. So if anybody is learning any programming language as a beginner or as an expert, so in learning there are levels. We have the novice. Novice are people who have not even had about any of those things before. We have beginner people who are just starting. We have the intermediates. They are in the middle of learning and practicing. Advanced or expert are guys who have been, what they've learned, they've been using it with case studies. They've been helping it, they've been using it, around things, right? But we are taking class from, so our goal is to take you from a novice to a beginner to an intermediate, and of course with time you become an expert. So today I'm going to quickly introduce you to some certain things that you need to know. And one of the key things we are trying out first is becoming a programmer. So the first goal of this class, before is it an AI class, is it an ML class, is there NLP? Yes, all those things are involved. But the first thing you need to learn tonight or learn in the next 1 2 weeks is a programmer, because the approach we are using is programming. All right, the approach we are using is programming, so you must be able to write your own code. Now we're going to start with Python basics. So there are certain things in Python that you should be aware of. One of them is what are variables, because you will use it a number of times. Values, data types, data structure, conditional statement, function. We have loop, right? We have function, we have loops, we have class and object. At least There are a lot of things under each of them, but these are key, basic things you should be aware. They are the fundamentals of Python that you should be aware of. So I'm going to start with variables. All right. I believe that our instructor already told us about key things in our environment. We have the markdown and you have the coding. All right, the markdown is a place where, so for this material I'm using, so markdown is like the text. All right, while the code is where I'm going to write my code. All right, so which is key. So but the first thing we should take note is that if I'm writing text within a code, what we try to do at that point is what we call comment. All right, what is comment? Comment is you trying to describe what you are doing to other developer like yourself. All right, so we try to comment our code so that anybody who is a developer like yourself will understand what you're doing. And one way to know you have made a comment in your code is it will start with an hash symbol. It starts with an hash symbol. Now, so today I want to learn about variables. So variables are like containers. All right, and of course variables are containers that are used to store an object. For example, let's take it for example, your bag, the bag you take to work. All right, see it as a variable. You put your laptop in that bag, you put your phone in that bag, you put your clothes in that bag. So that bag is the variable. Why? Because it is like a container where you can store your bag. Of course, you can put your water in the bag, you can put your shoe in the bag. That shoe you are putting inside your bag is the value. That laptop you are putting in the bag is the value. All right, so just to explain that, the first thing we have learned today now in programming is variable, and we've established that variables are what? Variables are containers that stores items, or say stores values. All right, now we've said that those values, all right, values in a variable, all right, so values in a variable, instead of using a pure notebook. At least you can see that it's from scratch. It's not already prepared one, because we will soon go to that, but you should be aware of these basic things. Variable in a variable, values in a variable, right? So now let's talk about the example to this. Now let's look at example. For example, if I say name and I say my name is Ola, for example. So now what we are saying here is that the name now is a variable, because instead of saying Ola, 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 I could ask, if they ask what is your name, all right, if they ask what is your name, I will say my name is Ola. So instead of saying Ola, 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 they will just say name. All right, that's why they address you by your name. So name is Ola. So here now the name, this keyword name now is our variable. Why this Ola is what? Is the value. All right, the Ola is the value. Let's look at another example. If I have age, all right, age is 70. What's the variable here? The variable is what? Variable. The reason why I'm writing this one, because they are just ordinary, English. I'm trying to explain that. That's why I'm putting that hash sign there. Variable is age, that stores the value. What's the value? Value is 70. So if somebody asks now, what is your age? I'm putting these things in, as comment. Why? Because it's a code environment. I can't just write ordinary text. So if they ask me what is your age, what's the age based on what we have stored in this data? The age here is what? Is 70. If they ask me what is your name, what will the name here be? The name here will be what? Ola, right? Based on what we have stored. So a quick task for you. So based on what we have talked about, can you create any two variables in the chart? Create any two variables in the chart and give it a value. So anything that ever exists is a variable, right? So let's quickly do that. To do. So let's create our first variable. You are writing code already. So just use the chart, create any two variables, create a variable and give it a name. So I'm checking the chat. Create anything can be variable basically. So from what you've seen, I've given you two examples. Can you create your own? We are starting already. Whether you are a novice, you are in whichever one, we are starting the journey already. So from now, you have to start picking it up. So you take note of some of these things in your notes. So I'm waiting. I'm checking the chat. Let me use my phone to access the chat so I can see. Okay. All right. So I'm seeing it. Group is 6. Time is 7 p.m. Age is 23. Yeah. Schoolmate is what? You didn't understand anything. Rank is senior officer. Okay. Value is 500. Okay. Car is Toyota. Gender is female. Course is Python. Thank you. State is Kaduna. Color is yellow. Car is Ferrari. Name is Israel. Okay. Class is 5. Color is blue. I have brilliant people here. Oh. What else you now? Why are you not scared? You guys know book here now. Okay. Car is Benz. Good. Beautiful. This is very, very good. This is impressive. All right. Now, these are good ideas. So, few things to take note is that now these values you are now seeing, please just watch it. Please, when you're writing code, you don't need to put hash sign there if it's within the code. But because I'm writing some comments, comment is like English, all right? Comment is like English, that I am saying. So now, if you look at these values, now let's take for example, if I have a container, all right, if I have a container, say I have a container, in the container I can put water there, all right? In the container I can put sand there. In the container I can put shoe there. Do you get that kind of thing? So that simply means that for the values I'm storing, they might have their states. Values, we have a state, all right? So what that simply means is that that state now is what we call data types. All right, that will take us to what we call data types. Because every state that you are storing, it has a data type. And what are the common data types in Python? Common data types in Python. Common data types in Python. So that when you are declaring and putting value there, all right, you will understand why you are putting it. So one of the first one we have is what we call integers, all right? Integer, anything that is number. So that means any value that is number that you are storing, that means is an integer number. 12, 56, 89, 50. All right. Another data type in Python, all right, another data type in Python is what we call float. All right, float. So that means when you have a number, all right, and that number has a decimal. When that number has a decimal, all right, that simply means that it is number, but at that point it is what? It is a float. So that means if I have 40.560, if I have 400.76, if I have 12.67, all right, at this point, all right, it means that the value I am storing into my variable, all right, is a float. Is a float. All right. Now, another data type that we have in Python is what we call string. Some people call it object. It's still the same thing. So, anything that has this apostrophe on it, whether single apostrophe or double, excuse me, guys, or double apostrophe, it is known as object. All right. It is known as object. Even if it's 17 that I put under a apostrophe, is no longer integer. Is now what? Is now an object. Is now an object. Is now an object. All right. So anything that has this apostrophe is now an object. And another one is what we call Boolean. Now, Boolean has two states. Is that true or false? It could also mean, in some cases, it could also mean yes or no. So in most time when you are defining, most time when you are defining your data types, majorly these are like the common data types you will have to use in Python. All right, you will have to use in Python. So once you declare a variable we will be able to trace the data type, and it has syntax that you also have to pay attention to. So let's go back to what I declared before. I called the variable name. All right. So because his name is taking characters, all right, it's going to be Ola. So this apostrophe must be there. Either double or single. That's what makes. So if they now ask you what is the data type of variable name, what will be the data type? So the answer here will be what? Will be string. All right. So now, how do we say this line of code? We say that here we declared a variable. All right. We declare a variable called name, and we assign the value Ola, which data type? String. All right. Which data type? String. If you go back to age, for example, now, so if you come back to this age, that means we declared a variable called what? Age. All right. And what is the data type? The data type is integer. Why? Because it is 70. All right. It is 70. Also, when we are declaring a variable, there are naming conventions that we must take note of. So when we want to declare a variable name, let's first look at the right way. Right, let's call it correct way of declaring a variable. First thing is, I can call the name like this. For example, if I have name sake is together like this, is correct. I can have name underscore sake is correct. But I cannot have name sake. There cannot be wrong. There cannot be any space between a variable name. All right. There cannot be any space within a variable name. This is wrong. Also, I cannot say name hyphen sake. This is also wrong. All right. This is also wrong. Why? Because they are not the right way. So conventionally, is that I put them together or I use an underscore. Is that I put them together or I use an underscore. So you have to be careful with that. Now, I can also call, say, for example, name and say Ola. This is also wrong. Why? Because this Ola will be seen as a variable, not a data type. But if I put this apostrophe on it, now is not correct. All right, it's not correct. I can't say food spaghetti like the person who wrote on the group. I cannot say food is spaghetti spag like this. This is also wrong. Why? Because it has to be, all right, it has, this one for example now has to be quoted too. All right, so food, if the value is spag, I should quote it. So that means this time is now what? Is going to see it as a variable. All right, it's going to see it as a variable now. So this is not the value assigned to it. All right, this is the value assigned to it. And of course, another one could be, are you married? So it's either a yes or a no, but because of Python programming, it will be either true or false. Of course, you can't have the two answers at the same time. Just trying to choose that for you as an example. So it will be true or false. And you can see the way I wrote "Are you married?" I cannot write "Are you married?" This is a wrong convention. All right, this is wrong because of the way we're supposed to declare a variable. All right, so "Are you married?" is wrong. All right, this way, but the first one is right. Okay, the first one is right. Now look at this next one I want to declare. Tell me the one that is correct. Tell me the one that is wrong. So these two now, which of these is correct? State of origin or your SOO or your, which one is correct? Okay. Okay, good. So the first one is wrong. The second one is correct, right? Because of the conventional way of declaring a variable. Conventional way of declaring a variable. So it doesn't matter whether you are trying to short it, but then most time we advise that you use a variable name that is meaningful. Somebody says state of origin or your is wrong. State of origin or your is wrong because we are putting space there. If we join them together, this is correct. Or if we use underscore, this is correct. But ordinary space is not correct. Okay, so these are basic things you should be aware of. And of course, don't forget, whenever I use asterisk, the is for comment. Comment is like a description. It does not affect your code. It is not going to run in your code. It's just there to give guidance to a fellow developer like yourself. When they are going through your code, they will understand. So when you write code, you should use comments. When you write code, you should use comment. So you can see these things are not too difficult. We have talked about variables, we have talked about values, and we have talked about data types. You can see just in a short while. So don't stress yourself. You will understand it. You will understand. If you're not seeing my screen, it's possible your internet. You can leave and join again. Because I'm also checking my screen from the second screen, and I think it's there. But if you mean in terms of how big it is, I can still make it a bit bigger. If that is what you meant. Okay, good. So that is how to create a variable, and that is how to assign a value to that variable. All right, that is how to assign a value to that variable. Now from here, let's talk about something that will be important. Let's talk about data types. We've talked about data types. Let's talk about data structure. I'm just giving you some of these things from the basics. So in real world, all right, in real projects, you really might not just have access to one data. For example, take a look at when you're working with a data set, you will possibly have gender, you possibly have age, you possibly have salary there, you possibly have when you're working with end data, you are going to have more than just one, variables, or one that more than just one column and value. So that means at that point, there are several other, structure you might want to work with. For example, now let's also talk about the common data types, data structures rather, the common data structures in Python. Common data structure in Python. So we have lists, we have tuple, we have sets, we have dictionary. All right, we have these are the common ones. We still have other ones, but for this sake, these are the ones we will look at. So all of these things, they are in the material that we shared, but I just wanted to take you through some of these things individually. So now the question is, how do I know it's a data structure? Now, the first thing, we will declare a variable. Let's say, for example, we say bow data. Whenever you are seeing this, can you see this bracket? Whenever you are seeing anything like this bracket in your code, it is a list. When you see this bracket, it's a list. All right, it's a list. So if I have bow data again, and I use this open and close brackets, whenever you see that within your code, that means you're trying to declare this data structure you're trying to declare is tuple. The data structure you're trying to declare is tuple. And when you see this guy, all right, these curly braces, it's a what? It's a dictionary. Yeah, a set is very close to something like the one you have. But when we talk about some of these things one by one, you will understand them. But at this stage, just see it like this to understand it for now. All right. So biodata, when you see this sign, all right, it's a list. This sign is a tuple. Of course, you want to ask, oh, biodata, Dictionary wants to look at a set. Yes, it it almost looks like the same thing. All right, it almost looks like the same thing, but they have their peculiarity when you need to use them. The kind of result that you are going to get if you have to use them. Finally, tonight, before I take questions, we are going to talk about condition conditional formatting. So here you will talk about and, or, and and not. Okay. So for example, if we say, so if example, just so you can understand it from an example, of course, we all know what many of us that did logic, back in our university days, or say in logic operators, or say operations, you understand and or. For example, when do we use and? All right, when do we use and? And is used when two conditions are correct. And of course, if those two conditions or many conditions are correct, it will return a true. That's why we used to say Taiwo and Kendi. That means it must be twins, not one of them. But it can be boy or girl. All right. That means as far as if you give birth, you will either give birth to a boy or a girl. And of course, it's either you are a boy or you are a girl. Is that you are a female or you are a male. You cannot be two at the same time. Of course, there are funny people right now in the world. But from a normal point of view, you are either a boy or a girl. Then that means if you are not a boy, all right, that means you are a girl. So that means not boy will be equal to what? Will be equal to girl. Why not girl will be equal to, all right, not girl will be equal to what? And somebody should answer that. Not girl will be equal to what? Yeah, so not boy will be equals to, not girl will be equals to boy. Yeah. So see that as if it's going to give you the opposite of what you are asking for, all right? It gives you the opposite of what you are asking for. It gives you the opposite of what you're asking for. Now let's look at this together. Example now, real examples. Real example. Real example. Now, so let's say I declare age to be 18. Now, I'm not asking, is age now, what's my age? My age is 18, don't forget. Is age greater than 20? So now, just to say this, by default, it's going to return a Boolean value. All right? It's going to return a Boolean value. So if I put this guy here, by default, it's going to return a Boolean value. So the question is age, if you look at this now, age is 18. Is age greater than 20? If I run this guy, can you see? It's showing false. How do we run our code? You can click on this guy that looks like a run sign, all right? Or you press shift tab, shift enter rather, shift enter on your system. Shift, when you want to run your code, shift enter on your system. Shift enter on your system, all right? Or you click on this guy that is for everybody who is using the online one that I'm using, all right? Or if, but for whichever one you are using that Ezekiel already explained to you, shift enter will work. So why is this returning a false? Is because by default 18 is not greater than, all right, 18 is not greater than 20, so that's false. If I say less now, for example, now is age less than 20? Yes, that's a true. All right, from normal reasoning, that's a true. All right, that's a true. Right, that is a true. Okay, so that's, it depends on the condition you decide to to drop, determines the value. Let's check another one. Now, don't forget we have declared age before. All right, we have declared age before. All right, we have declared age before. Is age equal to 78? So when you see double equal to, in our mathematics, you know it's one equal to, but in programming, double equal to means equal to. Why single equal to in programming means assigned to. All right. So if you look at this now, you see that. All right. So age here is 78. All right. So we are saying that is our age. Don't forget we have already defined our age as a variable, and we have assigned a value to it to be what, 18. So age greater than 20, is that true? Of course, yes. Age is 18. Is 8 less than 20? Yes, that's true. Now, another example, age same thing as 78. That is 18 same thing as 78. That is a false. That is a false. All right. So now let's now try and combine our and or together. So if we now say that, for example, I say 3 greater than 2, and now look at this. Don't forget that when we are using when we use an all conditions must be true. All conditions must be true. So when we're using all right, so the first part of this condition is 3 greater than 2. That's true. Is 4 greater than 7. That's false. But because before you can have and successful, the two conditions must be true. That means this will return a false. Why? Because one condition is already false. Right? One condition is already false. One condition is already false. Let's look at this example. So I want you to respond to this from your end. If we run this code, what are we going to get as results? If we run this code, what are we going to get as our results? I say out of false. Why do you think it's going to return a false? Why do you think it's going to? Some people are saying true, some people are saying false. Justify your answer. So if you look at it, the first one, our age is not greater than 40. Our age is less than 20, all right? But because it's an and condition, all condition must be true. So that is why it's returning a false. Okay, so let's talk about all now. What is all? As far as one condition is true. So for example, if I ask my wife, what did my wife get back to? When they say it's a boy, I don't have any problem again. Congratulations. It's a girl. Congratulations. Are you getting it now? Oh, he has graduated. The point is, as far as one condition is true, all is fine. It doesn't even have to check the second one. As far as one condition, so as far as one condition is true, your all will return a true, unless both of them are now false. So if we run the same code now, and let's change it to all, you see it's returning true. Why? Because there is one of the condition that is true. As far as one of the condition is true, it's going to be a true. But if both condition is false, it will return a false. All right. As far as one of the condition is true, it will return a true. As far as all the condition is true, it will return a true. That is what all is. Now, finally, not true will be false, while not false will be what? Will be true. For example, if we say age greater than 40, for example, if we now say not age is greater than 40. So now the first thing you need to find out is what is the original position? What is the original position of age greater than 40? That will be what? That will be false by default. All right. That will be not false. That means the answer will not be what? The answer will be true. So let's run this. You see that the answer is true. Why? Because it's giving us the opposite, the negation of that result. So if we say not age is equal to 18, what do you think this result will be? Not age equals to 18. Not age equals to 18. What will this be? People are saying false. Is that correct? People are saying true. Is that correct? People are saying true. People are saying false. So the first position is that it's true. All right. Age, we have, don't forget, we have age somewhere before. Don't forget that we're trying to link up with what we have declared before. Age has been declared somewhere. We are using this age. All right. And age is 18. So if age is 18, so that means that this guy is actually correct. Age is equal to 18. All right. That is true, but not true because we have introduced negation. Not true will be false. Not true will be false. All right. Not true will be false. So we will keep it low here today. And in tomorrow's class, we will start using the material so that we can now, go through some examples in the material. But if you have the material, you can go through your program. If you open it, you will see a folder called Python Basics, and you will see program flow. So most of the things I've talked about today, they are in that program flow that you will talk with. So in tomorrow's class, we will talk about conditional statements. So you can read about that. We talk about, that's why we are going to start, conditional statement and loop. You don't have the material has been shared, just look out for it. So we'll talk about conditional statement and loop. Please do an read up on this. Then after this, we talk about each of those data structures again, so that you understand when to use them and their usefulness. Then with this, we can then talk about our function and our object. So with this, you have a good glance of what Python basics are, because for every programming language, these are the very, very key, things that you will need. And like I've told you, the problem is not the code. If you ask your ChatGPT right now, all right, if you ask your ChatGPT right now, you are going to have your code. But you must understand why the answer is whatever it is, why the question is like this, and all of that, right? So relax yourself, whether you are a newcomer, we will continue to progress, no doubt. But the first thing you must take note is that this stuff is not hard. Two, it needs critical thinking. You need to critically look at it. All right? You need to critically look at it. All right? You need to so don't. All right? You need to critically look at it. Okay? Somebody said the not did not enter. Okay, so the first thing before the not will work is first know the default value. Before you look at this not, what you should do is like you should clean it off first. All right, so look at it again and say age. What is my age before? Don't forget our age is 18. So age 18 is equal to 18, right? That's correct. So that is supposed to return what? True. Okay, now if we now introduce not to it, that means it's going to be the opposite of the expected result by default. The expected result is supposed to be true, but because we now have not, are you getting it now? So not will now give us the opposite. What is the opposite of true? Opposite of truth is false. If I change my this one now to, let's say I change age to be equal to 20. All right. If I say age is equal to 20, if I say age is equal to 20, that's already false because our age is 18 and 18 is not equal to 20. That's false. But because I've introduced not, give me, so what you're telling the computer is give me the opposite of my true result, which is false. If it's the default value, the result will be false. If we introduce not, the not will give you the opposite of that result. Are you getting it now? So that is exactly how that works. So in tomorrow's class, we'll talk about conditional statement, condition, because everything in your coding does not have to be direct. Some of them have to mean some condition. For example, if you are in Nigeria now, before you can vote, you have to be how old? You have to be 18 years old. That means only people that can register is if, so in writing programming, conditions are very, very vital. Conditions are very, very vital. So we're going to look at that tomorrow, and we'll talk about loop, and we pick all of these data structure tomorrow. Then we enter function. So by this week, next week, you will understand the basics. You can see it's not too difficult, but you have to create time to go through it again. You have to create time to check it out again. So tomorrow, I'm going to start tomorrow's class by asking questions from what we learned today. And if you also have some questions, do well to ask on the, I'm not sure if facilitators are on your WhatsApp, but I guess with time we are going to be there to be able to answer your questions before classes, because we don't really do have all of the time. So with this, you can see it's different from you don't know anything, right? You are not an expert. You now know so many things right now. Okay. It's interesting, but it requires absolute attention for beginner like me. Yeah, no doubt about that. Please share the material. It has been shared. Can data type be in a sentence form? I don't know what that means, but don't forget that when we're talking about data types, there are specific data types. All right. All right. So the second machine learning platform, I think that's Zindi. Zindi is ZI. Zindi.Africa. Zindi.Africa. Okay. Thanks. Okay. 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 Oh, welcome back. I'm glad you are fun. So, and of course, there are certain other videos. All right, there are certain other videos you can also watch on all these installations and all of the things that we have mentioned. So on this note, we are going to call it a day. Yeah, the replay will be available. The team is going to reach out to you on that. Yeah. So, and of course, immediately after this is over, you have access to this video to watch, as it were. So at this point, we are going to stop here and we will pick it up from here. Please, you can reach out if you have any difficulty, so that we may not have all of the time, all of the time to answer questions here, but you can always reach out. I guess the team is also going to add us to the chat, as we move on, so that we are able to interact. And of course, like I gave our what was it called, our LinkedIn also in the course of our introduction yesterday. You can reach out to us. Of course, it might take a bit of time. It might take a little bit of time for us to respond, because there are certain other things to look at. So, guys, thank you very much for joining. We meet again tomorrow. Please practice, get yourself ready. Whether you are using, the point is whether you are using Google Colab or you are using, is the same thing. Just know what you want to write in your code. Okay, so we call it a day here. Thank you, everyone. See you again tomorrow, 7 p.m. Nigerian time.